Session, the applause is a bit slow, so people are just waking up. I was actually, when it was 10, I was just looking at the crowd and I thought, great, there are hardly people. And it's good because the talk is about getting your first job in data science, and the conference is about being in data science, AI analytics. So in a way, you shouldn't be here, right? If you have a job, you shouldn't be here. So I was very happy that a lot of the people have jobs in data science, but okay, anyway, good. Yeah, my name is Imaad. I'm a founder in residence at Entrepreneur First, where I'm trying to build a startup. If you want to talk about what I'm trying to build, please talk to me after the talk. I've worked as a data scientist earlier. I've been through this journey where you've already learned the things you need to learn, but then you're having troubles in actually getting a job. And today I'm going to take you through my journey, where did I start from, what did I do, and perhaps leave you with some tips and tricks which you could actually use and benefit from, and maybe that might help you get a job in data science. How many of you are actually looking for a job in data science here? Great. So shall I start? Yeah, let me just begin. Okay, the clicker seems to have given up. Okay. Yeah, so who am I? I'm a founder in residence Entrepreneur First. I am also a data science educator. I've created courses on natural language processing. I'm a LinkedIn content creator, so if some of you have seen my LinkedIn posts, you would get to know that I'm a LinkedIn content creator. Previously, I was a data scientist at Indegene. I've done my master's in Internet Technologies and Information from TU Braunschweig, bachelor's in electronics and communication from MS Ramaya Institute of Technology. Why do I tell this? Because you should have some context to who you're listening, right? So that's what I've been doing. Are there jobs in data science? So this is a question that should be answered first before we even see why do you want to get a job in data science. So what do you think the answer to this question is? Is it a yes? Okay, yes. How many jobs do you think right now would be there in data science? If, like, for example, if I were to go on LinkedIn, make a search for data scientist, how many results would come up? Approximate numbers. 1 lakh plus. Oh, great. Okay. I wish. Yeah. 3,000? 20,000? I have a screenshot. So yeah. Anyone else? Last. We have 1 lakh plus, 3,000, 20,000. 20 to 30,000. Unfortunately, I think the person with 3,000, fortunately, the person with 3,000 was the closest. So there are about 3,000 jobs right now if you were to go and make a search for data scientist. And if you see, a lot of them are varied. I will take you through one particular job description to understand what exactly is it that is required of you. But if you can, I don't know if you can see, but if you actually go through each of the job descriptions, you'll understand that each company has a different requirement as to what they expect from their data scientist. So we'll go through each of that. For example, I went on LinkedIn and got this sample job advertisement from Urban Clap. How many of you here have heard of Urban Clap? A lot of you. So you know what they do, right? So they're also looking for a data scientist. And it's an entry-level job, if you can see. It has been posted 1 month ago, and not a lot of people have applied. They say be among the first 25 applications. So this is the job advertisement. We'll go through their exact requirements. I will take you through. So for example, they say so if you want to understand the data problems that they're solving, it would be matching the right professional for each customer request, quantifying how many requests were lost based on drop-in conversions, using various signals to find out. I'll just read the ones in brackets. So it's matchmaking, capacity planning, fraud detection, personalization, customer experience, partner retention. So they have a lot of areas in which they're using data science to improve their offerings. But for us, if you're looking for a job as a data scientist, what is important is to understand the responsibilities that you would be taking up. So they would want you to break up big business problems into small actionable analytical or data science problems. So this is one of the key requirements companies have when you're looking for a job in data science. And that is that you understand what is happening with their business. and try and figure out a way to translate that problem into a problem that you could solve technically. So, and this thinking develops. It's not something a lot of people are born with. Some people are born with analytical thinking, but you can develop this by being more analytical, by asking more questions about the things around you. So it's about an analytical mindset. And once you start doing that, you start seeing business problems everywhere. You start seeing how you can convert that to technical problems. So this is a very big requirement that companies have. And once you can do this, you can basically go to any company in the world, right? So you can now understand business problems, and you can now convert that to a technical problem, and yeah, you can solve it for any company in the world. Give thought leadership on problem definition and defining key metrics to target. So it's also important for you as a data scientist to realize what are the metrics you want to target, what are the things that you want to improve in the current system. Like, for example, if you see matchmaking, right? Matchmaking is about finding perhaps a service provider to someone who wants a service. How can you improve this experience to the maximum possible? So that is one example. And maybe as you keep doing matchmaking, you might get so much better at it that you can start a marriage counseling service or something, right? Because now you've cracked how matchmaking works. So one of the requirements for Urban Clap is for you to be able to understand the problem in depth and define what is important in that problem, all right? Identify the important input variables or data needed for model building. This is crucial because a lot of these companies don't have data. Urban Clap, I think, is blessed to have data because a lot of transactions happen on the platform. But a lot of these companies either don't have data, or it's scattered, or it's in a form that you cannot use. So there's a lot of problem, a lot of chaos. You don't have data in the right format that you could use. So you should have the ability to be able to converge data from different formats, put it together, extract insights out of it. So this is something that's expected of you as a data scientist. Not that you have to do everything, because a data engineer would also be a part of your team, and his responsibility is essentially to build the pipeline, getting the data from sources to you. But you have to be able to tell the data engineer what you want, right? If you can't tell the data engineer, then he'll just build a pipeline for whatever he wants, and then there'll be a mismatch of objectives. So design the validation metric to evaluate machine learning models. This, everybody who has done some machine learning understands how you can improve your accuracies, your precision, your recall, et cetera, et cetera. Do the feature engineering and build the model. This is also very crucial. Apparently there was a saying, if I think it was by Andrew Ng or someone else, but a lot of applied machine learning, or a lot of machine learning today, is mostly about feature engineering. And if you can actually engineer the features really well, you can actually build a really good model. You're actually not building a model, but you're actually building a really good system, right? So do the feature engineering well. So you have to be able to do feature engineering well. Move the model into production as a microservice. This is another important point, because you don't want your models that you train to only sit with you, right? You want it to be used. And how do you interact with, let's say, the front-end teams, and how do you make sure that whatever predictions your model is giving reaches out to your customer in the right format? So there are different ways. I think these guys are using microservice. You could, again, have an API. You could perhaps even have a report or a dashboard, right? Like if you want to if you want to show the results of your model, you can expose it as a report or a dashboard. So there are different ways. And ability, okay, this is very interesting. Ability to work on multiple projects in parallel. And this is not a requirement in all companies, but I think Urban Clap is flushed with work. So they were like, okay, you have to work here, 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 here. So don't pay attention too much to this. Prepare dashboards to track performance and responsiveness of the model in production. Like I said, you might have to prepare dashboards. You might have to understand, prepare reports and dashboards so that the business can understand what is happening, right? So these are the broad roles and responsibilities that you would have as a data scientist. So if you've done all your learnings, see if you can solve all of these problems. Like for example, matchmaking, capacity planning, fraud detection. See if you can build a system around each problem. See if you can actually fit into these descriptions, because then you know that you're fit for the job, right? So this is how you would evaluate yourself. Again, for any job, this is one example, but you could take any job and see if you can actually do what they're asking you to do. And then maybe if you want, you can tailor your resume and say that, hey, see, these were your requirements, and this is what I can do. Moving on. OK, so that was the description. That the requirements are overall experience of 2 to 5 years in advanced analytics, business intelligence, data warehouse, strong conceptual understanding on machine learning techniques, regression, logistic regression, et cetera, strong expertise in SQL and working with relational systems, prior experience of, so they basically want you to have had some experience for entry-level job, which is great. Like, it's an entry-level job, and you need 2 to 5 years of experience. This is amazing, right? Like, yeah. But anyway, so the point here is that apply for these jobs regardless. If it's an entry-level job, and you've just graduated, let's say you've done your master's, or you've, for example, basically just done a course from an online institute, just apply for these jobs. The problem, don't pay too much attention to the experience requirement. Unless it's like 10 to 15 years, then I think it's a senior position. But if you're just getting started, please apply. And if you go through this, the skill sets that you need are primarily SQL, implementing ML models, either in Python or R, strong ability to convert business problems to technical problems, and to be able to visualize it, let's say a report or a dashboard. So if you have basically these skill sets, I think you're a good candidate for this job post. Why data science? So this is a question that everybody here who wants to be in data science has to ask themselves, because if you cannot answer this question, I don't know if you can go much ahead in this field. And with that said, I want to say how I got introduced to the field. In the year 2014, I was not even remotely aware of what data science is. I went on to Coursera, and I did this course called the Data Scientist's Toolbox. It's still there, I guess. It's from the Johns Hopkins University. So that was my first interaction with data science, and it was in 2014. It was not required for me. I was an electronics engineer. I was not doing data science work, but I thought this is a very interesting industry to be in. I thought this is something I want to do, and I took the initiative, went ahead, and took this course. I later realized that maybe this is something I want to do. I went ahead and did my master's from TU Braunschweig. My research project was on automatic detection of topics from tweets for a product. There I was using unsupervised learning, k-means clustering, LDA. My master thesis was automatic detection of fake images. So this is how I got started with data science projects, right? This is the introduction. So these are machine learning projects. You do it right from the start till the end, where you're visualizing or where you're showing the predictions. So this is where my first few projects were. Then after that, I realized I like to write, and I should perhaps start a blog. And then I had a data blog that I started towards the end of my master's. And that went well. I mean, I just started writing. I wrote my first blog post, and it had no readers. Great. But then somehow somebody from Towards Data Science found that, and they said, we would like to publish it in our publication. And I said, wow, somebody even wants to read what I write? And like, OK, please take it. And yeah, so it's out there. You can go ahead and check it out. So this is also something you could try, writing a data blog where you are writing down your experiments with data science. So my heading is writing at the intersection of data of data in the world. So that's what I do. So master's done. Now what? That was what I was thinking, and I thought, what should I do? I applied to a few jobs in Germany, but it wasn't what I wanted. So I came back to India and started applying for jobs here. But this was the problem that I faced. Like I said, you need experience to get a job, and a job to get experience. So I was stuck in this rut. And what do you do when you're stuck in a situation like this? You try to be innovative. You try to do something out of the ordinary, and that's what I did. So I was applying to jobs, and I was just applying and getting rejected.
Where were you applying for that?
That's confidential, but yeah. Anyway, so the point is, this is normal. Getting rejected is normal. So I want to make rejection a normal thing, because I'll talk about rejection later, because I'll run short on time, but getting rejected is normal. So I collected all my emails that I was getting on why I was getting rejected. So it was like, thank you for your interest. We would like to thank you. Thanks again for your time. So I collected that and I built a classifier saying that if I get an email somewhat around thank you for your time, it's going to be a reject. Or if it's something else, maybe there is an option. And I wrote a blog post about this and I posted on LinkedIn, which went semi-viral, and I got a lot of recognition. And people were now interested to talk to me. Exactly what I did. Like I said, I applied, and I got on LinkedIn. I put all of these things online on LinkedIn. And eventually, I got 4 offers. This was, I think, a year back, not a year back, 2 years back. So the hustle was, again, one of them was this reject, not reject classifier, but I employed multiple different strategies to find the first job. And I will take you through these strategies, and each of these offers I got from different strategies. And today, I've made this reveal earlier, but today I'll make this reveal to you as well. So it was a multi-channel approach. If you look at it, your traditional job portals, you apply to a job portal, somebody responds back. That is one way. But this is the most difficult way, right? Like, there are tons of applicants. You don't know what's happening. The HRs don't know who are you, what are you doing. And it's a very difficult way to get a job. But it's possible, and I've got a job through that. So, a lot of people get. So it's a very plausible way of getting a job, but it's a very difficult way. Second is blog posts plus personal projects. This is very interesting. What happened was there was a person who contacted me after the reject, not reject. In fact, after a few more blog posts, he said, I want to give you a job, because I was searching for a job back then. I said, OK, when's the interview? He was like, there's no interview. I just want to give you a job. I was like, OK. And now it started to sound shady to me, because who wants to give a job, like all of a sudden, like, come take a job. I'm so generous. No, nobody is. I was like, OK, tell me, why do you want to give me a job? But he's like, I like your activities. I like what you're writing on LinkedIn. I like your blog posts. I like your personal projects. I've seen enough for me to give you a junior position. So it sounds like magic right now, but at that time I was like, wow. So I didn't even apply for a job. I didn't even have to do all the hard work. Somebody comes to me and gives a job. All this is because of the blog post that I had put out, the personal projects that I had done. So make sure you are doing something, right? That will help you to go a long way in developing your own skills and, in fact, reaching out to people. So this was a very interesting story. This way is a very unique way. I'm not sure if it will work for everyone, the second way. It will definitely make you a better data scientist. It will definitely make you a better person. But getting a job directly without having to interview, that I think I can't guarantee that. But I can guarantee you will improve. So that is something I would want you to do. References, everybody knows that's the key. You talk to people in your network. They try and help you find a job. I did that. A few of them didn't work out, but I got a job through a reference as well. So references are key. Talk to people in your networks. Try and ask them if they have an opening. Try and make best use of your network. So that's what I can say. And LinkedIn. So be active on LinkedIn. LinkedIn has a lot of people posting stuff, a lot of job postings as well. Like there was a job in my team, I think, and I just went ahead and posted on LinkedIn, and I got a lot of resumes. It wasn't officially posted yet by the HR, but there are people who do this. So they put out job openings on LinkedIn as a post or something, and then you can reach out to them. So this is a strategy that you can apply if you're not getting a job. So this is what worked for me. These were the 4 different strategies that I applied. And there are some more strategies that I want to discuss, but I've heard that it has worked for other people. I've known that it has worked for other people. And one of them is GitHub. So it's home for all your personal projects. Go ahead and put really interesting stuff on GitHub. If you've done a project end-to-end, make sure you put it up, and make sure you put it up well. Like, you write down a README for it. You write down the instructions to use it. Just don't put up stuff for the sake of putting up, because the other person should be in a position to use your project. Put it like you're giving it to someone. Don't just like, OK, I have some project on my GitHub. So don't do that. Put it in a way that another person can use. Make it pip installable or something like that, if it's a Python project. Stack Overflow. And yeah, so before Stack Overflow, GitHub, people have gotten jobs. Like if there have been very interesting projects on GitHub, people have been approached directly and they've got jobs. So it's a very valid strategy for you to use. Stack Overflow, lots of people ask basic questions on Stack Overflow. Go ahead and answer those. Because there you're showing your knowledge. There you're showing that you know stuff. And I've read a couple of blog posts where it said that a person, again, got a job because of his Stack Overflow profile. Because he was such a good answerer. He had like tons of karma? Or no, I don't know the point system in Stack Overflow. Reddit has karma, I think. But yeah, so go ahead, answer these difficult or easy technical questions, make yourself stand out, and definitely I'm sure on this because I've seen people go through this, and yeah, so it's a very useful way to make yourself stand, but it's a difficult way. You have to give a lot of time, effort. It's not very immediate, so make sure you keep doing this. GitHub, Stack Overflow, Kaggle, and hackathons. So this is also something very important in the sense that you want to be involved with the community. The community keeps organizing hackathons, or there's Kaggle. Kaggle is the home of data science, according to them, but go ahead, take part in Kaggle competitions, try and win some money as well. You could win a lot of money on Kaggle, so do that. And I think one of the most important things on Kaggle is the kernels that people have put up already. So go through those kernels, understand how people think about different problems, try and do it yourself, and mix and match approaches. All of that is possible through Kaggle. So please make sure you use Kaggle to the best use possible. Hackathons, there are a lot of hackathons that keep happening in the city. Keep an eye on them. I'm also thinking of organizing one, so I'll let you know. If you follow me on LinkedIn, you will get to know if we'll have a hackathon soon. Like I said, meetups and online communities, these are very important for you to network with the community, to know what's happening, to know and understand what kind of people are there. This actually reduces the barrier between you as an individual and somebody working in a company. Then you start to get close to them. So attend meetups like the one I organized. So I'm a meetup organizer. I organize a meetup called Mantis Data Science. And if you're interested, we can talk about that after the talk. But yeah, so if you come to meetups, you get to meet people. You get to, even I think Analytics India magazine has a meetup. So you can go there as well. So go to meetups, meet people who are interested in topics, find like-minded people, chat to them, hey, do you have a job or something? And I think there are a couple of things, couple of instances where maybe someone has got an interview from our meetup. So things like that happen. Okay? And once you keep doing all of this, and you put in all your best effort, and when you want something, all the universe conspires in helping you to achieve it. Thank you. I finished before time, so we can have an extended round of questions if there are any.
So for people who are having a different, like many years of experience, let's say 5 years of experience in a different domain, it might be only the domain like marketing, it can be only the Java kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
When they apply for a data science job,
Mm-hmm.
they will be considered as freshers.
Okay.
So how to tackle that? Because any person having a 5-year work ex, it will be difficult.
I think
for
one
him
of
or
the
her to
best ways to do that is to apply for a job in your domain itself. Like if you're a marketing expert, you could apply to a marketing data scientist role, which needs domain expertise there. That is one. Even before that, what is more useful is that try and find internal transfer in the company itself. Like if they have a marketing team, maybe you have some data scientist working on using the data that you're generating and extracting insights out of it. So maybe try and get into that team internally. That's much more easier than like applying to a random company and then saying, I had a marketing background, now give me a data science position. So answer to this is, 2 points. One is try and find the internal transfer where you're not actually thought of as a fresher because they've seen your work in another field. Or find a job in a domain that data scientist jobs come in different domains. So find a job in the same domain. But even then, when you're going external, it's going to be a problem because they will think you are a fresher. To some level, you are a fresher in the sense that you've not worked with these technologies before, especially if If you're a marketing person, you've worked with ready-made technologies, and now as a data scientist, you will have to make those technologies. So it's a bit of a shift. But I think it's more about gaining the trust of the team once you're in the team, and that's about it. So you keep growing as you show your work.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, I have a question
Sure.
on job description, basically. I mean, these days, job description have become very vast. That means they ask everything that they want, but basically for a person, I mean, data science jobs are not excluded from that. If we go and see any data science job, the job description is like, they want everything from data engineering to analytics and a scientist job, I mean, the data scientist job. How we decode that, exactly what they are looking for. I mean, the one example that we saw from your presentation, it seems more of like, yeah, it is an apt example, but in reality, sometimes we see the job descriptions are bigger than that. And it becomes difficult to understand whether I'm really suitable for that job
Answer
or
to
not.
that is twofold. One is, again, you decode the job description itself. See, like for example, this does not have a lot of data engineering portion. It has some, like they say you should have the ability to gather data and all of that, but it does not have a lot. Like they don't even mention data engineering tool sets, right? Like Airflow or Kafka or et cetera, et cetera. So once you have those things being mentioned, then you can understand. So the kind of technologies they're asking for is a way for you to understand what they are building. But like you said, sometimes they don't even know that. They would put everything that is possible under the sun, right? What you do in that case is perhaps try and understand it from the team itself. So try and reach out to person working in that company in the data science team and say, hey, what are you working on? And if you're the first employee, then God save you, because you have to work on everything, right? So it's things like that. So there's no one answer, there's no one way of finding, but yeah.
Hi, Imaad.
Hi.
Both of us are recent data scientists here,
Mm-hmm.
and we also hustled our way like you hustled through it.
Congratulations.
Yeah. I'm just curious to know, this question may be a little controversial, but talking in data science terms, how much are data scientists earning in, say, fourth quartile or interquartile or last quartile? So say 5-year experience.
I didn't get your question.
How much money are data scientists making today? Say 5 years experience, first quartile, interquartile, and the last quartile.
I think that varies on what kind of data scientists are you as well.
I mean, the market, given a bell curve, what's the 25th, fourth?
See, I
quartile?
cannot tell you what is going to happen, because that will be technologies keep changing, everything keeps evolving, but it varies from the kind of companies or you're applying to, kind of companies you're working with as well. If you're working with, I don't want to call them tier 1, but yeah, they pay tier 1 salaries like Facebook or Google, or even there you have different categories. If you're a research data scientist, which is something like you're involved in building new models or coming up with new techniques. Like if you're an Ian Goodfellow, you would be paid a very handsome salary. But if you're an applied machine learning person, maybe it's a bit lesser than what Ian Goodfellow earns. So it's very relative, there's no one way. But I think, having said that, Analytics India magazine have already published a survey or something on salaries. So I think that's your way to go. Yeah. All right, do we have one last question? We'll take one last question and we'll wrap up. One last question.
One last question.
Yeah.
So, I mean, in your terms, how do you distinguish a data scientist from a data analyst?
Data scientist from a data analyst. So data scientist would be an evolution of data analyst. Data analyst would, again, be involved with, let's say, SQL and getting the data out and giving it to you, maybe do some reports and visualizations, and that's about it. So their job role is limited in that way. But it's not an easy job as well. It's a lot of hard work. Writing SQL queries is not very easy, but it's limited in that way. But as a data scientist, you would go further. You would interact with the business leaders. You would interact and so get insights from that, translate these problems. So the data analyst wouldn't have to do that. So data analyst would get like, hey, get me data out from this. Just the business analyst would come and like, please give me this, and then that's it. So data scientist is data analyst plus a lot of other things. All right, thank you so much. Thank you for being here.